Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy, and today I'll be giving you a prediction reading for the 26th of August. Now, if you are new, don't forget to subscribe. I let my guides pretty much channel through to you, so just stay watching. There might be a message here for you to receive today, and we'll get started, and let's see what comes up. Now, it's showing me that people are being herded back. Well, government is trying to herd people back, but we've known that here on my channel for a couple of weeks now. They're trying to regain control of the people, and this is the people waking up. Probably not us and not you if you're watching my channel, but they're trying to regain control of the masses because they don't want people waking up to their real agenda, which is the Great Reset agenda, as we know here. So I'm definitely getting this corralling of the, I call them cattle, of the people. But they're corralling them back in. They're trying to get them back into the yards. But there's what the guides are showing me is there's a lot wandering and going astray. So it's like when you're trying to herd up cattle, you'll often get those few that just cut away from the pack and they just wander off, or they're very hard to regain that control. So I do feel like government's starting to lose a lot of people when it comes to control. We know that's happening here on my channel. People are starting to drift away from government, and this is what we want to hear. Hang on, let's see what else we get. So there's like more and more breaking free, really from the narrative that they're being fed. But they're saying, you know, they're breaking free of the pack. And this is great. That means people are finally starting to wake up and see what's really going on. They have been kept in the dark for a few years now. Hang on a sec. Let's see what else we get. And they're saying they're doing their research. So it's showing me people on the computers, and this is what we've wanted to happen forever. If you're new to my channel, we've been hoping and manifesting that, putting energy that people will start to search for their information. So they're tapping away on their computers and they're digging deeper. They're starting to find things out, because I keep saying, once you start looking, the information comes to you. It just seems to land in your lap. So these people are now finding that things are popping up on their feeds. They're starting to get people talking about things. They're overhearing conversations. They're getting that information. This is the people waking up. They're starting to receive the information they need to start to piece all this together. And all this is a lot of all this. Hang on a sec. Let's see where else we go. Again, I'm getting this. Sorry, my throat's really scratchy today, which always means there's a lot of blockages. These people haven't got their voices. They're struggling to get things out. A lot of us here went through that phase where we got very jammed up in the throat. I call it the chimney, like in the house. It allows things to come out of your mouth, your voice, and when your voice is suppressed, things jam up and become tight in your throat. That's what's happening with these people waking up. Now, I'm getting, again, this visual of a tablecloth, and government is putting the tablecloth over the table. I talked about this the other week when there was a lot of scratches on the table, and you know, all the, when your table's not perfect, you have to hide it and put a tablecloth on. So they're showing me this tablecloth, and it's very specific. It's got little tiny like rose bushes on it. So when I think of something with delicate little flowers, and it's like they're trying to soften everything. So it's almost, to me, government is trying to cover things up in this very softly way. I'm thinking of like a grandmother's table where you go and you have your cup of tea, and she cooked a nice fresh cake. And this is what the government's trying to make all of this, which is their reset agenda, very inviting. They're trying to create this beautiful, I guess you could call it almost like a high tea image, but it's like when you'd go and visit your grandmother and she would have just baked a cake, for example, and you're having a cup of tea and you're all sitting at this beautiful tablecloth that she would only pull out on very special occasions, perhaps if you were visiting, and it's got these little roses on it, so it's very sort of old worldly. And this is what the elite leaders are trying to do. They're trying to, I did say they were trying to hand a lot of these things out on a silver platter to people, but they're trying to soften their image. It's like they want to be portrayed as, and this is quite a strange comparison, I know, as your like grandma who's got your best interests at heart, who nurtures you and looks after you. If most of us think of our like grandparents, not all of course, but most of us, it's kind of good memories. You kind of feel nurtured by them and looked after and cared for. And they always made a fuss. Well, this is what the government's trying to portray now, that they're caring for you and they're making a fuss. And again, we know it's the tablecloth being thrown over everything to cover all the flaws up, because we know that the reset rollout went a bit pear-shaped and they've had to pull their heads in and cover things up and come with a much softer approach now for the people, because otherwise too many people are going to rise up because they're seeing it all. So this is what I'm getting. The government's trying to come at this, which we knew they were going to, with a very different approach. They're trying to be softer, more generous, more caring, and that's what I'm getting about this nan or grandma kind of image of the table setting. It's a very nurturing kind of experience, and that's what these leaders are trying to do. They're trying to create a false situation that again causes people, if you think about sitting and having a nice cup of tea and a high tea or something like that, you sit in the chair and you relax and you stay there for a long time and you just enjoy your cake and you enjoy your cup of tea. That's what the leaders are trying to do, get people to sit down. They're trying to get them to sit down for a long time because they don't want anyone standing up. So if they can calm the situation and get that nice energy where people feel safe again with their government, which we know hopefully they don't fall for it, they can get them to sit back down again, like at the grandma's table, eating the cake. A nice freshly baked cake, might be scones and jam and cream, but this is what they're trying to create, as we know here, the illusion that no, everything's fine, you can just sit down and relax and we will take care of you. And that's what these government leaders are trying to create now, that image that they will take care of us, all the little people. Or not us. Not if you're on my channel. We removed ourselves a long time ago from all this government nonsense that they're feeding us. Let's see where else we go today. Oh, they're showing us, right? This is us. We're sitting back in our recliner chairs now. Like, it's like we've been sitting upright for probably 2.5, 3 years. We've been sitting upright, you know. I always talk about us being in the movie theatre, watching the show going by. And, man, we've had a few movies. We've had sequels. It's all been happening here. But all the while, we stay in the audience. But now, they're telling... the guides are telling us to hit the button on the side and recline now. We can put the seat into the reclining position because we have earned this rest. So our seat is now, we're going to hit the button, clunk, and we're going to go back and we're going to just lay in this nice recliner lounge chair and we're going to watch the rest of the show because the guides keep saying we're not in it. This is not our show. We're definitely 100% in the audience now to watch all of this as it's about to play out. And apparently it's about to play out. I mean, you can stand up if you want to, but if you haven't got the energy and you just feel like you want to observe from afar, which is always a very safe place to be, like I always say here, well, we've now got the permission from the guides to hit that side button and kick the chair back into the reclining mode. So we're in the recliner chairs now with our feet up, and just resting up so we can kind of take a chill pill, catch our breath, and just relax and watch all this playing out on the big screen. Because the guides are saying there's like a big show coming. It's a big show. And, and they're actually saying that it's like, because we talk here a lot about the cattle, as you know. I talk about the cattle, but there's going to be this big stampede. I'm hoping... fingers, it's the uprising. that's coming in September, but it is saying there's going to be this stampede on government. And when you think of a cattle stampede, if you get caught in it, you're going to get pretty much trod on, bruised, battered. Well, that's what's going to happen to a lot of these global reset leaders. They're starting to get bruised and battered, not literally, but their egos, we could say their egos, because they just thought, and I think, you know, like I keep saying, if we think back to a couple of months ago when they were all like high-fiving each other, when Macron got in, I call him Elbow, Albanese got in, and all these others got in, they were travelling around the globe, they were on their perches, they were all upbeat. But notice none of them are like that anymore. They're really, well, I said here, Elbow's playing the blame game, blaming the previous Prime Minister for everything, putting a big spotlight on him. I'm sure it's happening wherever you guys are as well. There's a lot going on. I know in New Zealand there, Jacinda Ardern isn't the most popular Prime Minister at the moment, is she? So there's a lot going on, and it's not their little ego, well, not little egos, sorry, refrain. I mean, retract that rather. Their huge, humongous egos are being bruised and battered and slightly squashed, and that's a good thing. We need their egos to be shrunk down a little. So I'm getting this visual of this stampede, which to me would be the people rising up and trying to get their lives back. Not us. We're in the recliner chair in Terabella movie theatre now, watching all this play out, because I always tell you to stay really safe, and you have like that permission from the guides now to really sit back and just like, well, it's not really wiping your hands of it, but it's like staying out of it like this, saying, oh no, that's not for me. We need to keep clear of the, I guess you could say, the stampede as well, because, ooh, that's going to have some very volatile energy of people waking up and being really, really not happy. So these cattle are coming towards stampeding, because when you think of a stampede too, it's usually en masse. There's usually a lot of them. So that's what's coming towards government, and that's great. We need to hear that they're heading over there towards government and not backing away from them, which is, like I've been saying, that a lot of them needed to stop complying, which is going back into the cattle yards. As we know, the people waking up, the people who are complying, once they stop complying, they start to come this way and push back against government, and that's what we need them to do. We did it very early on. Most of us here, you've jumped on here and done it along your journey as well, and that's great. We embrace everybody here on my channel. We love anyone that wakes up, because when you start to see this nonsense, there's no going back. There's only going forward into your sort of new life and new creation. Like I called it yesterday with the round no smoking stickers. We had the no WEF stickers in our world yesterday on everything. So there was no like WEF in our new world that we've created here on my channel. Let me see if there's anything else today. Oh, they're just saying, like the guys are saying, so many things are collapsing. I've talked about that middle industry the other day, like the builders, construction. Oh, so many industries are going to collapse. They're showing me like mini skip industries. People, what's happening? See, this is a global crisis because they can't afford the fuel, they can't afford the cost, the maintenance on vehicles. This is causing these major companies, I would say, semi-major companies to collapse. They're on the brink. A lot of them are on the brink, and we're going to see a lot of that starting to, it's showing that like domino effect. They're going to just start knocking and falling over one after the other, after the other, after the other. And that's sad because those kind of businesses employ like hundreds and maybe even thousands of people. So then there's going to be a huge amount of job loss again. And we know where it's all heading. So big corporate up here with all their businesses can actually take over, and all the little plebs, like all of us little worker bees, well, so they think. We're not, are we? Because we don't work for them. But that's their plan, for us to all do the work and them to all reap the rewards and get the benefits. We know that here on my channel. I know you guys know that. It's the old Ponzi scheme, pyramid scheme. I always talk about it. It's only the people at the top that are going to be making all the money from all of this lovely reset agenda. Nothing in it for the little people, that's for sure. Hang on a sec, I'll see if there's something to close with today. They are. I got it the other day. People are backflipping on government. It's showing me them doing backflips. They don't want that narrative. So they're moving away from the narrative, but then they're sort of backflipping, but then they're also pushing back. It's kind of an interesting analogy, isn't it? They are backflipping from the narrative, but they're not backflipping from pushing against government, if that makes sense. They don't want what the government is feeding them anymore. They're backflipping. They've had enough. Hang on a sec. Yeah, people just don't want it. These people waking up don't want it. Oh, they can see all of us. Like, this is what I keep saying. We're the mirror reflection to these people that they were lied to. We're here. We're still all here. We're here on my channel. Everything they were told was pretty much lies. So their frequency was off and they got stuck in it. But now their frequency's changing. They're going up. Their frequency's raising. So they can start, every time you go up in your frequencies, you start to hear things clearer. You start to see things clearer. It's like when things come into that clarity, or even it's like putting the radio dial on the right station. Things are crackly until you get it spot on the channel. That's what's happening to these people now. They're starting to get their dial, their frequency radio dial of tuning into what's happening. They're getting it right onto the channel now, and it's all becoming clear. God, imagine the shock these people are going to get when they realise the enormity of what is kind of coming at them. Gosh, I heard something this morning that California actually over there has set their date for the renewable thing, or getting rid of the petrol cars and things by 2035. So, these countries and different things are starting to set their dates. Let's just put the fear in everybody, Oh. And you know what's so funny here, and I have to share it with you because it's pretty funny. All these people, it's been, I live near the ski fields, not too far away, probably an hour away. And all we've been hearing, because we have a battery shop, all the people are having to be towed in their electric cars because they're in queues in traffic in the snow because there's hold-ups because the roads are so snowy, and that they're keeping their cars idling because they have to keep it on and keep warm because it's so bloody cold, and their cars are stopping and there's nowhere to charge them. And this is a continuous problem that has been happening up the mountains all ski season. These people in all their Teslas and electric cars and things, they're having to be towed back down the mountain to the nearest town, Jindabyne. And because their batteries have run so flat, it's taken like 6 hours to charge their cars up. And this has been happening all ski season. All these electric cars have been just going flat. So there's a classic example of something that no one predicted would happen. And can you imagine, we talked about it here the other day, that electric car anxiety that people have about getting to the next charging station, or how have I got time to charge my car up? It's a thing. It's called so far it's called that electric car anxiety. It's a thing now that they've discovered, that it causes people a lot of stress. Well, the people on their holidays, how's that even a holiday? You'd be so stressed out. So these are the kind of examples of when things just don't go smoothly, and situations arise that you're stuck in traffic, or for example, what if there's a car accident and you are stuck out on a highway and your car just goes flat? What? See, these are things, this is what I'm saying about these global leaders. These are the kind of things that come back to bite them on the bum, because can you imagine all those people are going to stand up, aren't they, and go, well, this isn't working, and they'll probably get rid of their electric cars because it's caused them nothing but stress. That's just an example. So that's what we've got. We've got government just rolling things out in an unrealistic fashion. Yes, it might work in the cities where there's lots of availability of charging stations and things, but it's probably not going to work in the rural areas. God, that would take years to get that infrastructure set up. So, in the same way you guys are as well. But that's just an example of some of the chaos that these things are causing and that pressure it's putting onto a lot of people. And that's why these are the kinds of reasons that people start to stand up, because they just want to live this simple life again. And they know that if they don't do this, everything's going down well, we know the road of tyranny and dictatorship, but it's going down a road that I said yesterday, it's like the slime through the fingers. They're starting to lose control of their life and it's slipping through their fingers. So they can sort of sense, feel with their frequency going up that something needs to change and they have to do something before it's kind of too late. Gosh, they're not even thinking about all their kids and grandkids and what's coming in their future, are they, if they don't hurry up and stand up? Oh, my goodness. I'll see if there's something to close with today. It is. These people are cunning now. This is the people waking up and wanting to push back against government. They are hiding from them. I said the other day they're not answering their doorbell to government, meaning all their app messages on their phone, like get your 5th, 6th, 8th, 10th jab, all this kind of stuff. You know, you're due for this, you're due for that. People are ignoring it, and that's what we need to hear. We need to know that these people are now turning their back on government. And, oh, it's so good, isn't it? They've had enough. They're tired. They're weary. Oh. Clearly they're weary. If I'm yawning, that's usually an indication of the energy. They just feel flat. They're not energized. See, we found this way, and if you're here on my channel, we went through a lot of all this in the beginning, and it was exhausting, it was tiring, we were vilified, there were people who got injured and mandated. It's absolute insanity, as we all know here. None of it makes any sense. And we found this way to re-energize ourselves. We've taught ourselves all these things, how to get back to nature, how to calm the mind, how to eat really well, how to grow some of our fruits, how to keep ourselves distracted, how to stay out of the narrative. We turn TV off a lot of the time. We've done a lot of things that help to re-energize ourselves and help us to feel more whole as a person again, without all the fears and stresses and the attacks and that sort of thing. A lot of us, like I say, spend a lot of time either in our homes, in our safe places, or we go out in nature, or we just tend to do the things that where we feel kind of safe and we feel strong and energized. And that's what these people are having to do now. They're having to create some sort of life around all the garbage that they're being forced. Well, they sort of weren't forced, but they started off as compliers. Coerced, mind you, and mandated, a lot of them that had no choice if they wanted to feed their kids and that. We totally get that on here. No judgment from any of us on this channel, because we know that was the situation for a lot of people. It was just cruel what they actually did, wasn't it? But that's what I'm getting. These people, they're hiding away from government, or hiding away from government's garbage anyway. I'll see if there's anything to close with today. Yeah, I'm getting Britain. There'll be a decision there soon. You'll know soon enough. I think half of you already know anyway, don't you? You get that gut feeling what's happening there. So again, all eyes you'll be on the world stage. So it's sitting back in the recliner. You can just watch all this. You guys might be on the world stage for a little while. I don't know if you guys saw the Meghan Markle Spotify. Oh my goodness me. Spotify podcast. What a narcissist. She interviewed Serena Williams. Just an example of maybe the spotlight being put on the royals again. I talked about that the other day. All the while, big distraction. Remember, we talked about that, to be aware of when they're distracting you. With the royals and monarchy, there's usually something else going on. Because it puts the spotlight on Meghan Markle. Mind you, it was her absolutely shocking interview. Serena Williams was talking about herself, and then it all ended up back on Meghan Markle. It was just terrible. She was like the woe is me victim. Anyway, it was just if you haven't seen it, maybe go and listen to a little bit of that, because it was really eye-opening actually. But again, the spotlight's on the royal family. So be aware of that over there. There's a lot of distraction. It's very easy to put focus on other things. But we know that here on my channel. And that's also a global distraction as well for all of us other people too. We've seen that as well. I'll just see if there's something to close with. Hang on. These people I keep talking about these people because they're dominating at the moment. They can't believe this is real. They cannot believe this is real. And we understand it. When this all first started coming out, we couldn't believe this was real. And remember, I used to talk about we needed concrete evidence. We really had to get some concrete evidence, and then it started to arrive. I shared it to my Facebook page. A lot of senators here in Australia who were standing up in Parliament House and talking about the Great Reset agenda being rolled out. It started to give us that concrete proof. And now these people are seeing it. They're kind of needing their concrete evidence. But like I said, they're starting to search now. And when you start searching, you go deeper and deeper and deeper. It's like I always said about us, that little meme about the conspiracy theorists digging for the truth, and we'd built the big quarry with our bulldozer, and then it had the little visual of the people waking up with their little garden tool, just digging a little hole out in the backyard. But now they're starting to dig deeper. They've got their big shovels. I said it the other week, and they're digging a lot deeper to try and get to the truth and the information and work out what's really going on. Whew, I think it's an endless, well, I guess you could say quarry, but it's endless amounts of information. We don't even know the half of it. I keep saying that on my channel. So much is hidden even from all of us, which is quite a scary thought, because you never know what's coming at you next, do you? We talk about Klaus might have had a second book. That's pretty scary. There's a lot in that first book. I can't even imagine what's in the second book. And then is there a third or a fourth? God, I hope not. We'll be sitting in this recliner chair for a long time. Let's hope it's got the massage buttons as well, so we can get a massage to keep ourselves kind of stimulated and keep all energized. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. Stay in your recliner chair, kick back, and let's watch the show, because I really do believe that September's going to bring a lot. We may not be involved in it. I guess you can if you choose to, but I think we're pretty much learnt to enjoy our new lives over here in Terabella that we've created, which means New Earth for anyone new here, and it's a pretty nice place to be, I would say. Look, don't forget to comment down below. Let me know what's happening where you guys are. It's great to just share our stories, and hit those like buttons too, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you this afternoon. I might shoot a video with my doggos today. I haven't done one for a while. I'm sure you guys have missed them. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone. Bye.